Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Echo Stretch here. In this video we're going to check out Linux on the PS4. We're going to go ahead and get it installed and change a few settings. But yeah, I thought I'd make a little video here, show you guys how to get Linux going, and we'll go right into it. A few things we're going to need. You're going to need a USB keyboard. You won't need it once the install is done, but to get it installed you need a USB keyboard, and then once it's installed you can switch over to your Bluetooth keyboard, wireless keyboard. You're going to need external drive or USB, and other than that you should be good to go as long as you have those. A USB hub is optional. I find that for me, I like having a USB hub plugged in, so that way I can, I can plug in. Say if I do get Linux going and I want to plug in a USB stick with a couple of pictures on it or whatnot, I can plug it in, access it, copy it over, and whatnot. So for what I'm going to be using is I only have one USB hard drive, so I'll be using a 1 terabyte hard drive. I'll be using just a USB keyboard, an old one that I found around the house here, and then once I get it installed I'll switch over to my wireless Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. We don't need a mouse for the installation. We just need a keyboard. We just need to type a command. And for the USB hub, I have a 6-port USB hub, so that's what I'll be using. The PlayStation only has 2 USB ports, so it's good to have a USB port or USB hub. If you don't, it's not recommended, or it's not needed, but it is recommended. So let's jump over to the computer and we'll get some stuff going there. Okay, so now that we're over at the computer, we're going to need a program to make partitions. I'm going to be using Aomi Partition Assist. You can get it for free on the website. I will leave a link in the description, but you can see it's free to download. There's also the paid version if you wish to do that, but it's not needed. The free version will do what we need it to do. So we'll go ahead and minimize that. We'll go ahead and launch it. And we'll say yes. Okay, and as you can see, I'm using a USB hard drive. You can use a USB stick. I'm using 1 terabyte. That's not needed. You can pretty much do anything. The files are only 4 gigs or 3 gigs, so I'm not sure what the minimum requirement is, but you can get away with a 200 gig or even a 16 gig USB stick. Should work no problem, or even an 8. So you can let me know in the comments down below if you use that there. But it will be slower if you use a USB stick rather than a hard drive. But let's go ahead and do this here. You can see that it's GPT. We need to be basic MBR. So we'll just right click on it and we'll hit convert to MBR disk. Hit OK. And we'll jump up and hit apply and proceed. And yes. Okay, and it shouldn't take too long to go through that. And there we go, we're done there. The drive needs to be FAT32, so we're just going to right click and just format it just to make sure that everything is formatted clean. As for label, you can leave that blank, just hit OK. And then we'll go up and hit apply, and then proceed. And yes. And we'll give that a few moments. It shouldn't go too long, depending on the size of the drive you're using. But if you're just using a USB stick, it should go pretty quick. Okay, so that is done. So now we're done with the partitioning program. We'll just close out of that. So I have 3 files here. I have the bzImage, the initrams fs, and the distro that we're using. We're going to be using Fedora 32. There's other distros out there that you could use, but Fedora 32 comes with Mesa 20, and I believe we are able to upgrade it to 21, as the other distros still have 19 on them, and I don't think there's a way to update them. As for the kernel, let's just jump up and we'll get these copying over. So we'll go to this PC, and just to confirm that we are FAT32, we'll just right click and hit properties, and you can see FAT32. Okay, so we'll cancel. I'm not sure why this computer's going so slow. It's just acting up today, I guess. So we'll go ahead and copy those 3 files over like so. And then if we go to this website, I will leave the link in the description. But you can see there's different kernels here, the 5.318, which is the newest one, and that's the one that I will be using. If it doesn't seem to be working for you, you can try 5.37. There's also an older one, which is 4.14, and I'll leave the link in the description for that. But general rule of thumb is to start at the highest one and work your way back. I know the first time I did try 5.318, it didn't work for me. It might have been something I did or didn't do, but I went ahead and did it again just to be sure on it, and it went through no problem. So you might want to just check that out. This is, as you can see, the tutorial here is well, the files or whatever. It's still 6.72. It hasn't been updated to 7.55 yet, and that's what we're going to be using. So we'll go ahead and see how well it will work for us. Okay, so we'll minimize that there. We should be pretty much done here. 60 seconds. Okay, we'll give that a few more seconds here. We just need to rename that there file, and then we should be good to go. So 30 seconds. And if you're using a USB stick, it might take longer to copy these files, and even when it goes to install Linux, it may take even longer. My USB drive is just a normal SATA drive, but I believe an SSD on that external drive would be much quicker. I may give that a try. I do have SSD. I think it is 300 gigs. I might give it a go. Okay, so once we do have these here copied over, we just want to rename this here file. Our distro, we want to keep .tar there, but we want to put in PSX, put your fingers on the right place on the keyboard, PSX ITmania.tar. Okay, now if that's done, we can jump over to the PS4. Okay, so now that we're over to the PlayStation here, there is a few settings we needed to change just to prevent a black screen when we do log into Linux. So we're going to jump over to settings, and we'll go down to system. So there's 2 things here we need unchecked, is the enable HDMI device link as well as enable HDCP. So we want them both unchecked. We'll go into sound and screen, video output. For our resolution, we're going to change it to 1080p. RGB range, we'll change that to full. And then HDR as well as deep color output, we'll have them both turned off. And that's basically it. If you do go through with trying to install Linux or launch Linux and you do get a kernel panic, I suggest going back and just checking those options. A few times that I did get a kernel panic, I ended up going back in and I was getting a black screen and then I'd restart and I couldn't figure out what was going on, but I jumped back to those options, and those options actually got switched back to their default. So you might it only takes 2 minutes to run in and just check them just before you launch Linux, just to make sure that they're all good. But yeah, let's get into the tutorial here and get Linux installed. Okay, so there's a number of hosts that we can use. I've tried PRB's host, and I got Linux installed. I ran it for a little bit, changed a few settings, then I did a reboot and I was unable to get back into it. I don't know if it was something I was doing wrong, but we're going to go with Night King's host. We're going to give that a try and just see how well it works. This would be the first attempt that I've given it. I would imagine they're all basically the same. The difference is with Night Kings, though, is you can launch the LinuxLoader without doing the jailbreak first. Like, you don't need to go Control 10 or anything, but you need to do that initial jailbreak in order for you to enable to launch a payload. So with Night Kings, it's automatically there. So if we go in, let me get down to Night Kings here. Night Kings, we'll go here. We're gonna go ahead and use the latest version here, and we're just gonna select manual, and we give that a few moments here to install the cache. So with Night Kings, once you hit Linux 1 GB, it does the jailbreak and then launches the payload. With PRBs, it does it. You have to do the jailbreak or the exploit, do the exploit, and then go over to your Linux 1 GB and then launch it. So it's kind of like two different things, but yeah. So we can go ahead and turn off the internet now. As for the internet, you could probably leave it on. I don't think it's going to be a big issue because it should still load from your cache. I'm using an older Ps4, like one of the oldest ones, so I'm gonna turn it off just so that way I can have better luck. I think I'll have a little better luck. So you can see here we have Linux 1 GB as well as Linux 3 GB. What this means is how much video memory is going to be available to use. So if you recall back when we did a tutorial there on Orbis toolbox, yeah, Orbis's toolbox here. When we launched the game, up in the right hand corner it said RAM, and I said VRAM. The VRAM is your video RAM. I think the RAM was at 6 gigs, and then the video RAM was at 2 gigs. That's what that game used. So you can go, if you're going to start playing games on your Linux distro, you can go with 3 GB. But for the installation, you need to use the 1 GB, and then later on, once you get it installed, then you can go ahead and use the 3 GB. So we're going to go ahead and use the 1 GB because we are installing it. So we'll go ahead and launch that. If you don't have your hard drive plugged in, it's perfectly a good time to do that. I should have done that before I launched it, but we should still be good because we'll get one of our memory errors. We're going to plug in our wire keyboard as well. Get that plugged in. I've noticed if I launch if I turn on the PlayStation and I plug in that hard drive, sometimes it doesn't detect it. So I try to plug it in once I get into the menu, and I'm good to go there. So it looks like we're going in now. Okay, everything is passing. No controller drift error message, which is good. I think my controller's just on a good streak lately, so, and everything passed there. So we'll wait 20 seconds, and it should say launch and payload, or waiting for clients and then launch and payload. Okay, waiting for clients. Okay, that there's normal. We get a black screen. I know we didn't get launch and payload, but that there's fine. We should get no signal. And if you've done everything right with those settings that we went through, then you should get it should come into the screen for you and start loading. So we'll give it a few seconds here. Okay, my light on my PlayStation is pulsing, so that's a good sign. We're coming back in, and there we go. Everything is coming in. Okay, so you can put your controller aside. We're not going to need that for right now. Give this a few seconds, and we should get a command prompt there. Once you do get the command prompt, we're just going to type in a simple command, and it's going to be exec install dash psx itarch.sh, and then we'll just go ahead and hit enter. Okay, and as you can see, it is starting to install. Now this could take up to 20 minutes depending on what you're using. If you're using a USB stick, it may take a little longer. If you're using an external drive with an SSD in it, it could be pretty quick. I'm just using an external drive with a normal SATA drive in it. It is a 1 terabyte, but it it shouldn't take too long. So I'm going to let this go. Once it is done, I will come back and we'll get booted into Linux. Okay, guys, so we do have it finished there. We're going to just type in a command. While it was installing, I did plug in my wireless keyboard and mouse. Unplugged the wired keyboard. So we should be good to use the wireless keyboard. We're going to type in exec, pretty much the same command before, but we're going to, instead of install, we'll just use start. So we'll go start, or dash, psx, it, yeah, arch.sh, hit enter, and we should be loading everything here pretty soon. Give it a couple of seconds. There we go. Everything is starting to load, and we should get into the GUI. Now for that there command, we shouldn't have to type in the start every time. Now that it's installed and we do the initial start, we shouldn't have to do that there. Next time we go ahead and hit Linux 1 gigabyte or Linux 3 gigabytes, whichever one we use, it should just go straight into this boot sequence and start booting up. Okay, just there we go. Okay, found the video drivers there. There we go, and we're logged in. So, well, first thing we're going to do is just we're going to grab the right mouse. I grabbed the wrong one there. We'll go ahead and click on here. So our password is ITmania with a capital IT. And we'll go ahead and hit enter. We'll give it a few moments to load in. I guess I must have typed the wrong password. Capital IT and then Mania, enter. Ah, okay, there we go. Not sure what happened there the first time. I thought I typed in the right password, but maybe I just got my capitals wrong. Okay, and everything is loading in. Everything is good. So as you can see, we are loading in now. There is a few settings that are completely wrong. We want to change the language for sure. As well as the language, we want to change the time. And the keyboard layout is probably Russian as well. So let's go ahead. We'll jump down here to the terminal. Go ahead and launch that. First thing we want to do is just change this background. I'm not a fan of the transparency, so we'll just click here, and then right over here you can see there's a transparent window. We'll just go with the regular black, and that should be good. There we go. Okay, so there's a few commands we need to type in. Let's start off with the language. So we'll go sudo nano / etc / locale.conf. We'll go ahead and hit enter. It should ask us for the password, so we'll just type in ITmania, enter, and there we go. So we'll just jump over, we'll change this to EN, and we'll change one more, change this to US, and then we'll hit Control X for exit. And do we want to save? We'll just hit Y for yes, and then hit enter. Okay, now that is done, we'll just clear that out. Our next command that we want to do is we need to set our keyboard layout. So we'll just type in sudo locale ctl set dash keymap, and then we're just going to put in US. Hit enter. Now that is set. We need to set our time and date to the correct one. So if you don't know your time, or sorry, if you don't know your time zone, or we can just go sudo time date, ctl list, and then time zones. Oh, time zones. Okay, so if you scroll down here, you will find yours. I believe mine is America Edmonton, I should say. So we go down. There we go. There, America Edmonton. So to get out of there, we're just going to do Control C for close, and then if we press up, we should be able to get it. Yep. We'll just so we're just going to take out the S on time zones. Take out list. We're just going to put set, and we'll jump over, and we'll type in. Oh, we'll type in America slash. Did I get everything there? Yes, I did. Okay, America Edmonton, and enter. Okay, so we can clear that as well. As for that there, now for the settings to take effect, we're going to have to do a reboot. So what we'll do is we'll just go reboot. And it's just going to do a basic reboot and launch us back into the PS4. Once it shuts down everything successfully, we will get launched back into the PS4. And then from there, we will just do the same thing. We'll get everything set up, and we should be good to go. So we'll give this a few moments just to make sure that everything boots in. And as we can see, the PlayStation logo appears. Okay, at this time we can grab our PS4 controller because that's what we'll be using just to get everything done. I believe you could use the keyboard and mouse if you want to do the jailbreak or to do launch Linux again, but I find it a lot easier just to use the controller. So as you can see, we never changed anything with the operating system. Everything is normal and everything is good. So let's go ahead and try to get back into Linux. Okay, so we're going to jump in there. If you recall from the previous video I did with getting Linux going, I had to have my USB dongle unplugged for the simple reason with it plugged in with the USB hard drive, it kept on bringing me to a command prompt and not letting me type anything. There must have been a conflict with the hard drive and the dongle. So what I do is leave the USB dongle unplugged until I start getting into Linux and it starts loading, and then I'll plug it in. So it looks like we are getting in right away here. See what happens. Hopefully everything goes good. We'll give it 20 seconds. There we go. Waiting for payload. Or waiting for clients. Okay, and we should get a black screen now, and you may get no signal. That's perfectly normal. We just got to give it a few minutes, and it should start booting up. Okay, I got my no signal now, so I just give it a few seconds here, and it should just start coming. Everything should start coming back. There we go. It's starting to come back now. Everything is loading. I still have my dongle unplugged. Once I see the first OK green light or green message, that's when I'll go ahead and plug in the USB dongle. I don't know what causes it. It just maybe it has a confusion which one is the external drive, and it just gets messed up. You might not have the problem. It might be just to do with my wireless keyboard and mouse. You can let me know in the comments down below if you have to unplug your USB dongle or Bluetooth adapter. There we go. There's our OK messages. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that the adapter in, and we should be good to go. I can put the controller aside, grab the proper keyboard and mouse. I have a few of them here, so it's try to keep everything organized as much as I can. And we'll just give this a few moments. There is a few things that needs to boot up or load, I should say. But it shouldn't take too long. Now I've already been logged in, so I have the Wi-Fi set up. When I did log in, I thought I was recording the video, but I guess it wasn't recording. As for the date and time, the time wasn't correct. I know the time zone was probably correct, but the time wasn't correct. Once I connected to the internet, it probably grabbed the proper time, but the time zone was correct. It was just a matter of getting it. So yeah, as you can see, everything is in English. So we're good there. We're going to click here. We'll type in our password, capital IT, then Mania, hit enter. And we'll just give it a few moments here to load. It does take a little bit. If you're using an SSD external hard drive, it would be a lot quicker. I'm thinking USB. I never tried a USB. I'm thinking it would be much slower. I'm just using a 1 terabyte external drive. It's a SATA drive. It has USB 3.0, but I don't even think that matters because the PlayStation is 2.0, right? So you can see our trash is in English. Everything is loading up here. I do have, if you would have seen that, you see it switch really quick. That was grabbing the correct time from the internet. I'm not sure why it wasn't saved. That's strange, but yeah, everything is here. Wi-Fi is here. I'm connected to 2.4 gigs. I'm thinking the PS4 has 5 gigs. I'm pretty sure it does. I'm not positive on that there. Even the Slim might even have the 5 gigs. You can leave a comment down below. Let me know. I kind of got my Slim. I don't really turn it on anymore. I don't want to do any more updates. I kind of rather use that for these tutorials rather than this old one. So if it does come with a jailbreak for the 8 series firmware, then I will use that one and probably update this one just to use online. But that's basically it. I will show you that the internet is working. We'll launch a browser here. I've noticed the browser takes a little bit to load. I'm not sure exactly why it takes so long to load. I'm thinking it's the hard drive, the fact that it's on the USB, because you can see the CPUs. The CPUs ain't getting used. The RAM is not even being, like, it's not even 10%. So give it a few minutes here. Yeah, it just takes a little bit to load. Try to launch it again there. We might end up with 2 of them, but we'll see. I may do another video with this here. You guys can leave a comment down below. I do have an SSD. It's a smaller one. I think it's might be 200 gigs. I might try doing a video with that there just to see how much of a difference. Is it worth using an SSD, or does it really make a difference? Okay, so it looks like I got 3 of them open here. You can see how long it takes to open. This is also one of the regular PS4, so if you have a Pro, maybe it is a lot quicker, or even with the Slim, it might be quicker. So we'll just close out 2 of these. We can keep this one open. We'll just go to Google. You can see even loading the website, it takes a little bit. But once you get into Google, like if I type in the PS4, it loads pretty quick for web browsing. So I'm going to leave the video at that there. If you guys want to see future videos, if you have any ideas what you want to see me do on Linux, I can certainly do it. Just leave a comment down below. If you like the video, go ahead and like it. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscription button, and I will see you guys in the next video.